So for this one, I'm going to be going over blind candles. Just type this out. Blind candles. Now, let me just draw a little illustration as to what a blind candle actually is. So sometimes you get a mitigation, for example, price will come up and tap in inefficiency or whatever it may be, and you get a nice sponsored candle like so, oh, like this, followed by obviously your nice downside reaction like so, right? And obviously this could be on the 4 minute, and then as you usually do, fib up the sponsored candle, mark out the 50 and the open like so, like right here. Oh, let's delete that, like so. And traditionally you'd wait for price to come somewhere between this region here before dropping, taking your entry here, right? But sometimes after the mitigation happens, let's say it happened here, you go all the way down to time frames and you can't find that sponsored candle. Like it will be somewhat ambiguous, and that's where blind candles kind of come into play. I'm going to explain that now. So if we look at GBP USD, this is on the 20 minute, price clearly came up and mitigated something within this region here. And after that, we literally had a beautiful reaction to the downside. And despite us having a trend to the upside, a short-term trend here was to the downside. So let's actually zoom into this price action over here, yeah? So we're going in. Okay, boom, perfect. Now let's go to the, okay, cool, let's stay here. Right, so we clearly have something here that was mitigated, right? But touching on to the false retracement video, whatever this mitigated was clearly not significant enough for us to break structure. What we did was we actually started to consolidate into Asian. So what that tells me is that we're going to take this high, right? So if we're taking this high, I'm going to look to the left to see what we could potentially mitigate. And what I can see is this inefficiency right here. And this is really nice. Why? Because normally when we take a high, we have no corporation and it's literally just a spike and a return. So this lines up quite perfectly. Now let's go to the 15 minute. Okay, that inefficiency is now pretty much the same, slightly lower, and I don't mind marking that out again like so. Just, slightly reduce that zone into this little area here. Now this is the kind of price action I'm looking at, and this is the kind of setup I'm looking for. So what we do is we wait for price to come up. Right there, beautiful tap. So now let's try find that sponsored candle for us to take our trade off of. So we go to the 10 minute, we don't really see nothing there. 7, too much wick on this candle here, and it wasn't exactly the candle that did the mitigation. Let's print another candle. Okay. 6 minute, nothing really. 5, again, nothing much. 4 minute, too much wick on this candle. I wouldn't consider that a sponsored candle. 3 minute, not exactly the candle that touched, and just wouldn't really take off that. Again, too much wick here. 2 minute, okay, that is a nice looking sponsored candle. Also the 50% was somewhat line up with that inefficiency fill. But let's go to the 1 minute. Okay, now notice on the 1 minute we literally have this candle here. This was the last candle before the drop, and it would preferably be a bullish candle, but in this instance it wasn't. Now what you do is, because the candle's so small, there's no need to mark it from the open of the candle to the top, where you can act and look. So by that what I mean is that this entire candle is only 3 pips. So you doing it from the open, you're only going to miss out like a pip, and there's no point doing that. So what you do is you mark it from the top all the way to the bottom of the candle, and you basically now have this region within here where you can look to take your entry. And when it comes to blind candles, what I actually personally like to do is take it off the open, simply because that's precise enough for me. Like, look, my stop loss here is going to be what? 3 pips? Basically 3 pips, 3.5 pips, that's fine. And to that break of structure we were expecting down here, let's go back to the 15 real quick. To that break of structure we were looking at down here, we have a 24% trade on our hands. Now let's go back to the 1 minute and look how this played out, right? Now keep in mind, when we have a sponsored candle like this, and like a small inefficiency, obviously you'd preferably have a wick here, this generally becomes a super reactive region. And just look how this plays out. We come up, okay? We literally are just consolidating. Now, also something to note, look at momentum. From that high to this low, 7 bars. From the low, so far, we're taking 33 bars. Now, straight off the bat, you can see law of effort to the down, momentum to the downside, effort to the upside. Now, just look, right? Consolidate, had a minor break of structure, but your POI hasn't hit yet. You just wait and watch. We come up, literally tap entry perfectly to the T, and right after that, drop. Wait for that break of structure here. Let me pause the video quick. Wait for that break of structure here to bring stops to break even, and obviously exercise the 10 pip rule. Right after that, consolidate, broke structure, stop loss to break even, and the trade runs. And that's basically blind candles. It's in by definition, it's basically when you can't. So unless you have the seconds time frame, we can't go lower than the 1 minute. So it's basically blind. We can't see further than that. So what we do is we use the whole candle. And if you just play this out fully, so let me just exit, replay, and go all the way back. We actually hit take profit, but we actually ran further, and this would have been a 45% trade. So let me just zoom in here again, just for you to see that. We had, after the sponsored candle, we had equal lows taken here, but we also had basically scalp structure broken here, which is also a good confluence. And then and obviously we broke it properly here again, so that this shows optimism to the downside. Came back up, tapped sponsored candle open perfectly, and dropped. And that's how you obviously could have taken a trade. If we go to the 2 minute, hopefully I didn't lose that. If we go to the 2 minute, if you took it off that sponsored candle open, you would have entered here, and the price probably would have came, and then you would have probably considered this a break of structure. You would have probably brought your stop loss to break even, and the price would have came up and took you out. Whereas if you saw that blind candle, you would have had your entry where stop losses would have been, and then bang, you enter, and then you would have taken this beautiful 50% trade. And that's basically blind candles in short. Hopefully that video was informative for you guys. If you guys got any questions, feel free to ask me. Besides that, on to the next.